Hi, welcome to another episode of Scott's Tots, the podcast. I'm your host, Scott. On today's episode, we will be talking about a piece of Chinese propaganda developed during the Cultural Revolution, specifically targeting the illiteracy rates in China. So this is what it looks like. Right here it says, read more, leads to work, benefit everybody in that red text right there. So like I said, this is to target the high illiteracy rates in China at the time. We know having illiteracy rates does not benefit efficiency in a country that loves work. So during 1949, only about 24 million primary age school children were attending primary school, and at the same time 1.2 million were attending secondary school. Then by 1953, 4 years later, these numbers increased with 51 million attending primary school and about 3 million attending secondary school. This is a great increase in numbers, obviously, but unfortunately the illiteracy rates still remained at about 80% of the population not being able to read or write. Then, during the Great Leap Forward in 1965, there's a massive increase in primary school enrollment, with about 85% of the school-age population attending primary school, which was up 60% compared to 1952, so just about 13 years before. 1953, 12 years. But unfortunately and positively, you can look at it both ways. Secondary education was also up, but only about 14%, so not nearly as much. Then, in 1966, when Mao reinstated and re-extended this education program, or policy, we began to see that it wasn't purely just for school-age children. What we saw was workers and the bourgeoisie did a switch. The workers were sent to school, the bourgeoisie were sent to work. Although I personally see this as perfectly fine, because the bourgeoisie probably had a higher literacy rate anyway. But what we also saw was a positive impact amongst the rural population of school children, as there's an increase in 34 million children in the rural areas attending primary school. So that was the impact of the education policies related to this piece of propaganda. Tune into the next episode where we'll talk about another piece of propaganda.